Can we have a headset, please?
Hey, give me.
Another one, please, here.
Thank you very much.
Just a headset. Yeah. And another one. Yeah. Do you need this?
It's in English.
Yeah, just for English.
Okay.
Just in case.
Okay.
الميكروفون هذا ولا بس تجيب لي هيدسيت للترجمة. السلام عليكم. طبعا البانل بيكون باللغة الإنجليزية ف please use your headset if you want to. Your Excellency, thank you very much for great speech that we have. It's a pleasure to have you here in the UAE. It's an honor to even receive you at the airport. I can see from your speech, Your Highness, that building capabilities is achievable and visible. I want you, please, to share with us your insights and thoughts. How can we upscale building capabilities to be globally? Having in mind that being pragmatic, neighboring states, neighboring countries that might have challenges within their systems. South Africa, through your speech, has proven that they have the legislation, the governance, the execution, and even the learned lesson. But South Africa is not isolated. It is within a region. So we would like to hear from you, Your Excellency, how can we have this challenge solved?
Well, thank you very much for this important question because it calls upon all the leaders of the world to genuinely have the interest of their communities at heart. If all leaders of the world can appreciate that to be a leader, it means there is a duty on your shoulders to serve the community. And certainly, where there is a will, there is always a way. So leaders in all continents, when we engage, it must be about being inclusive. It must be about ensuring that we care for the poor and vulnerable. It must be about whatever resources put at our disposal are fully utilized to make a better world, to make a better society and community, so that the facilities and capabilities we are talking about must be mobilized in ways that benefit the community. Not us as leaders, but we put emphasis on the benefit for the community. So all that is important is a conscious, intentional, deliberate, and decisive action that is aimed at improving the quality of life of the citizens of the globe.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Inspiring words. Your Excellency Fabio, we've heard through your speech that you face multiple risks, whether it's the floods, earthquakes, now it's volcanoes. We would like also your thoughts in, is really the future bright in building capabilities? Are we moving and achieving enough to be ready for a better future? Let's say we don't want to forget the experience and the lesson we had through the pandemic and the COVID-19. It was a global disaster, a global crisis. So what is your thoughts and how do you see Italy and even the system around it, whether it's the European or the other Asian neighboring, building capabilities together to save the community? And we know from your speech, social is being the main pillar in your approach.
The Italy is a country that is completely involved in all risk, in all hazard. So it's really strategic from a military or strategic point of view, the awareness of the population. We need that the population is completely involved in the procedure that are in preparedness matter. It's really very important that the population is completely involved during the preparedness action. The emergency matters. We have more than 5,000 of NGO made by population in the civil protection organization, and we are achieved this kind of new vision for the management of the emergencies and on the crisis in just a new wave. Let me share with you that normally the exercise that were made just to test the civil protection mechanism or civil protection activity or civil protection structures. And at the end of the last year, we have begun to start with the exercise that are completely involving the population. Now in the Campi Flegrei region, that is just a region in the eastbound of Naples, that is sort of volcano, it's a caldera without a shape, that is a huge volcano on 25 diameters of kilometers, in which now are living more than 400,000 of people. We need to share with the population also the emergency activity made during the exercise. So this is one of the examples that I can share with you. I mean that the awareness of the population that is completely involved in the knowledge of her territory is a strategic point of view that we have to share with you and share with the community.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Prince, the political and geopolitical arena is very busy. We heard that you guys are hosting the G20. It's ongoing meeting right now in South Africa. And so also the UAE delegates will be there starting from tomorrow. And the UN from the other side is doing all of these global initiatives. Hugo framework, Sendai framework, risk reduction, SDGs, and the list goes on. The question is, are we far from reaching global capacity in facing a global risk with the current world order and the geopolitical tension that is going on? Through other previous events, we've seen states and countries are not talking to each other because of the political tension. So what is your views on that?
Well, you see, South Africa is a country that believes in the power of dialogue. Because everything, after all said and done, resolutions have to be derived over the table. So it is important to lessen the egos and start to think about the future. As I said, we owe it to the future generation. What kind of future do we want to bequeath to that generation? What kind of values do we want to bequeath to that generation? And there are only two choices. It's either through our commission or omission. That future will define us as this generation, as those who have had the opportunity to build solid foundation to bequeath to them. However, when that moment was given to us, instead of being selfless and really committing ourselves to doing the right thing, we instead betrayed their future. And they will look at us as traitors. So we have a choice, because there will come a time where all of us here, we will be graves who will not be able to respond for themselves. But it is only our commission and omission that will be responding on our behalf. So we must be able to say, individually and collectively, how do we want us to be defined by the future? Do we want us to be defined as shameless and merciless traitors who betrayed that future? Or do we want to be defined as men of character, men and women of character, who contributed positively in building a solid foundation that seeks to ensure that we have strong institutions to sustain humanity.
Thank you, Prince. Thank you. Inspiring words. Your Excellency Fabio, through your speech, you shed the light on being dynamics. And the legacy and the history of Italy is quite busy with multiple crises and risks that has been brought from the old centuries. Now you live in a very hard map that comes with high rain, floods, earthquakes, now volcanoes, plus other risks that coming from pandemic as well. We want to hear from you what were the lessons learned from the COVID-19 global crisis. We know Italy had tough times, but you recovered. Please.
In our mind, and when I'm talking about our mind, is our mind, our world mind. We have forget the completely the cities, the towns, completely without any persons. I remember with anxiety that moment, but we was in fighting with one thing that never we have saw before. And when we don't know what is the actors, we have a sort of more trouble to fight against something that at the first moments we are not able to understand. So this is one of the reasons why the Italian community shared at the time all the knowledge just to give a strategic new kind of actions in the other countries. I mean that this action is good for all of us, is right just to share the way to fight and the way to approach a new strategy. And I mean that one of the most important thing was to avoid the funerals. And this is very hard to accept in a community. And when I talking about the awareness, also these aspects is very linked to a maturity of a community. I mean that avoid the funerals, avoid the marriages, avoid to give the last view on a son or on a father is very huge from an emotional point of view. But we had to fight against something that at the time we never seen, and later on with the improvement of the science, with the improvement of the scientific actors that had a sort of new view to give a a sort of a new idea just to share with emergency management. The new way to share emergency management, we have won altogether. There are some tricky points. The viruses don't know the borders, the administrative borders. And this is real in Italy. The virus is not only in one or two regions. The pandemics are in a huge has a huge capability to share each other. We are talking about aerial transmission viruses. And no one is not called to the action. I mean that also in this situation we have to share the experiences. One of the most important things is sharing the experience during the peace time, not only during the wartime. And this is one of the reasons why we have won against the SARS-CoV-2.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We have a room for one more question for each. And talking about global capacity and capabilities, we cannot bypass AI and the future technology. So, Your Highness, we want to hear from you, what has South Africa been doing on AI and the future technology to support the crisis and emergency system?
Well, as a country, we are investing significantly in developing technologies that are able to assist in terms of efficiency and agility. However, at the heart of those scientific inventions, we also invest in building strong humanity, so that as global community and global families, we must always move from the premise that appreciates each other as a fellow human being. If I were to ask, Mr. Facilitator, Your Highness, each and every one of us in this room, you look at someone next to you and you tell that person, in you, I see the image of myself. As a result, as from today, I commit to act in a manner that seeks to advance your humanity. If all global citizens can adopt that kind of attitude to each other, don't we think that 80 to 90% of the problems that we face will be resolved? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Highness. Your Excellency, I've been to civil protection. I visited Italy twice. I looked to this amazing system that you have through the social responsibilities, especially the volunteering system, which is great in a place like Europe. We want to hear from you the main social challenges that you had to face as a head of the civil protection to bring the awareness and the responsibilities of people in Italy, where you mitigate and reduce risk that was occurring?
When we talking about modification of society, we are talking about a lot of matters, from the way to live normally. And for example, in this moment in Italy, we have an important decrease of volunteers, because the way to live is completely different respect to 10 or 15 years ago. And when we're talking about a new way to live in our society, we can speak about the quick way to live. And this is the reason why we have to achieve really the impact of social, just like Facebook or X or Flickr or Instagram or whatever you want, because the news is real on the social, but this is not true. But if we have 1 or 2,000 of like, this message is more true than the real message that maybe can be reached or shared by the national institution. So we have to fight against the quick word, and we must be able to approach this new vision, because we can't stay in a slow world. We have to go towards the future, and the future is present also if we don't want this future. And this is the reason why we need to share with the population, with the community, all that is possible. One of the most important things is the sharing and the awareness of the plans. When we're talking about the preparedness is a lot of things. We can start from the plans, and the people has to know the plans. The plans of our territory is very important, because is, in my opinion, the 50% of the action. Later on, we have just the classical way to manage an emergency, with the operational structure, with the army or the police forces, with all the institutions that are historically involved in the management. But I mean that it's very important to start with the cooperation of the population, and the population must be informed, must be involved, and this kind of approach can give us a sort of best future, I mean, or best way to approach the future. That is it's correct.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's an honor to have you on this panel.